Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, for the first time in my bones after a disastrous, probably a low point of the season weekend in Miami, where the Yankees get swept, I feel Aaron Boone might actually get canned. As bad as a debut you get for the Yankees, after they make these, really good moves after the trade deadline there, and just lose some ball games in ways that's unimaginable, especially the, blowing a 6-0 lead there in the 13-12 loss there, and then the listless game after that, getting shut out 2-0 again with Jazz getting thrown off first base there. It's just really looking bad for the Yankees. And, I know in previous season the Yankees have struggled a little bit and people call for Boone's firing, but I feel this time actually something will happen, and I'll explain why. So get into the whole thing, but before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Section 420 Talkin Yankees, the podcast, wherever you get your favorite podcast. And there's also a YouTube version of the show. Go to YouTube, search for Section 420 Talkin Yankees, subscribe there as well. Don't miss anything. So the Yankees, they make all these moves. They pull like 5-6 moves there, solidify the bullpen, as you would say. You would almost maybe you'd think you have the best bullpen in the league there. And not only the bullpen, but every single new person failed miserably on their first tryout. Now, because that was the Friday night game, this is the disastrous game. Pretty much every new bullpen guy just stunk, giving up grand slams, home runs, game-winning hits, and of course Cabrera, they're calling it the Little League play there out in right field, letting a ball in right field go under his glove and allowing a couple runners to score there. I mean, it's just like, it's literally every new person that came into the uniform failed miserably on their first shot. Now, can you put that on Boone's head? No, but you just feel something's going to happen here, because you couple that with the game after that where the Yankees get shut out 2-0. Again, this is a Miami Marlins team. The Yankees walked in there 3.5 games back in the AL East, and just let me switch that for a second. Damn lucky Toronto hasn't run away with this, and the Yankees aren't like 8 or 9 games back right now. And the Yankees can thank Baltimore, they can thank the Detroit Tigers, and more recently thank the Kansas City Royals for at least keeping the Yankees within 5 games within top of their AL East there. So I'm not saying the season's over, any far from that, but something has to happen to shake up this team right now. And I feel, other individual things you could maybe criticize Boone with, yes, no, but Cashman has to do something. The front office has to do something to hold these guys accountable. The sloppiness, and this even goes back a couple of weeks ago, just all the fielding errors and all the problems and all the issues. Someone has to be held accountable, and where do you go? Do you go to the top? Obviously, Hal Steinbrenner is not going to fire Brian Cashman, but Brian Cashman and Hal can decide to remove Aaron Boone. This is a matter of accountability, because you can't fire the players. They're all on the contract. You're not just going to let people go. You're not going to just send Volpe home, and he's 24 years old and whatever like that. You're going to have to do something. So this is the first time I feel that Aaron Boone actually might get let go as Yankee manager. And I know we had some issues in the past, and fans always want to get fire Boone. I've never been on that bandwagon, and I'm not saying that's the solution for this right now. I'm not saying it's a solution. I'm not saying it's all Boone's fault. I mean, you look at Luis Gil Sunday, all right, coming off the IL, his first start there. Obviously, he was dominating in his rehab starts here and gets clocked around, ends up giving 5 earned runs in his first start. Now, can you place the blame on that Aaron Boone? No. All these new guys, all these new pitches you brought in for the Friday night game, they all bombed. Can you blame that on Aaron Boone? No, but again, you can't fire those guys. You literally just traded for them. You have them. They're in the Yankee uniform. They got to be in the Yankee uniform for some of them for the next couple of years there. So something has to give. You have to hold somebody accountable. So I just feel just as a matter of more just to show this something to the players, show something to the fans, and just show overall that someone has to be held accountable. I wouldn't be shocked sometime this week, especially if they have another rough week like this, or it can even happen tomorrow. Who knows? But if they especially have like another rough week just to supplement this terrible weekend in Miami, I could see Aaron Boone letting go as Yankee manager. It's just, you have to do something. And it's not like, you got nowhere else to go. You got Brad Ausmus, obviously has a lot of experience as a manager. He's done managing in the past, the bench coach. In that case, he would probably be promoted. And you just go from there and just say, look, would he be any different than Aaron Boone? No, because it's probably still Brian Cashman filling out the lineup most times and, doing the matchups and stuff like that. So it's still Cashman's team. They might co-make decisions, so it would be the same deal. But just a matter of just getting someone in there just as a different face, something different, a breath of fresh air, just put a different face on it. It might be the move to make there, because I just don't know how you walk in there, you're 3.5 games back, and let's get back to where I kind of started on that train of thought. Playing a team in the Marlins got nothing to play for. I know you're the road team, so you're the Yankees. All the retired and maybe former New Yorkers are all down there, so it's basically 3 home games for you down there in Miami. And you have a performance like that, it's just atrocious. And especially blowing 6-0 lead in the first game like that, gets inexcusable. It's like you literally handing the game, you're handing a win over to a team like that. Even the games that followed after that, maybe you could say, hey, look, face good pitching, just one of those days, okay. But just that first game was just so filled with errors. It's really inexcusable. Just have a major league team just like this that bad. Now get lost in the shuffle. Volpe goes 4 for 5 and 2 home runs like that. So you really can't get on him for that one. But then also Volpe has ups and downs he had to this point there, and you figure someone has to be accountable for him not really maturing the way he should be fully there, and again should not be hitting like 212 for most of the season. I know now of lately actually over the last couple like 2 or 3 weeks really hitting wise he's actually been doing much better there. So maybe by end of the September there maybe has a respectable like 245 batting average, like okay, but still a large portion of the season he has been failing, and this has all been under Aaron Boone as his manager. Same thing with Jason Dominguez. I know mostly he's been positive for the Yankees, but some of the stunts and his growth he's had there, this has all been under Aaron Boone. So these guys aren't flourishing under Aaron Boone as much there. So you kind of have to hold some people accountable. And again, that kind of goes back to the manager. So I just think all they got to do right now is just be just lucky they're only 4.5 back in the AL East there, because they really should be probably 8 or 9 games back there, where you almost got to only count on the wild card at that point. August just started, so you still have 2 full months to really make up a lot of ground there. But if you're going to do that, you're going to have to do that maybe with a fresh start, and I think that fresh start might be the removal of Aaron Boone. I'm not rooting for it. I'm not saying that will fix everything. I'm just telling you right now, it could happen, because this Cashman's going to have to do something. And you see what the Yankees have been doing lately. They've been removing what I've been calling kind of dead weight. They got rid of DJ LeMahieu after all this time, and they probably stuck with him a little bit too long than they should have, but they did it. Previous seasons, getting rid of Aaron Hicks, getting rid of Josh Donaldson, getting rid of Oswald Peraza, getting rid of Stroman. Some of these guys they've been carrying around for a while for very reasons, keeping them around maybe longer than they should. They've been cutting them loose, and Aaron Boone might be that next guy, even though he's not a player, that the Yankees might be cut loose. So that's where the Yankees stand. So I'll just say count your blessings that it's only, the AL East is still within striking distance. You can make up 5 games really within a couple of, a week, not even. So that part doesn't bother me as much, but just the terrible playing, the losing the team you should not be losing, making the Marlins came into the series, a game under 500, nothing to play for in the NL. And they pretty much, slapped the Yankees around and, again, swept the team that had no business of sweeping there. And if you're the Yankees, you have no business getting swept by them. So someone's going to have to be accountable. And you see what Boone's starting to get to him a little bit. Took a lot of criticism over this weekend, just the way the Yankees played terribly. And then you can go back to some of his frustrations. I'm sure you all saw the interview with John Boy. They took that one clip, I know, played out of context. Well, we don't care what you think. And yeah, I mean, he said all the things. Yeah, players aren't going to smash baseball bats and throw things around. They care. We get it. They all care. And he maybe seems too lackadaisical of the losses. But so at that, we don't know what gets said or if he yells at people behind closed doors. Probably not. But again, just to see him blowing up a little bit, you can tell it's getting to him. A lot of this stuff is probably starting to get it to him. And it's going to come a point, I think, where Cashman's just going to say, just for the good of everybody, he's going to have to step down. They're going to have to take him out. So we'll see what happens. I hope it doesn't happen for him. I hope they turn around and win the next 10 games in a row. I'd be cool with that. And yeah, and when Aaron Boone, I know he got you to the World Series last year, but I don't think he's built enough stock to really, something like Joe Torre, what he did. I mean, that's building up stock to not get fired. Aaron Boone has not built up that stock, and just getting to the World Series and get wiped out in 5 games, I don't know, that's really building up stock there. So I don't say he's bulletproof, so he's definitely vulnerable to get let go. And again, it's something like that I can see happen within days, so don't be shocked it happens. So we'll see. Catch you next episode.